So hello from Etang Du Manoir. I arrived yesterday and woken up this morning with this absolute beauty. £48, 2 ounces, first night. Come on. Right, see if I can get any of her mates. Good morning and welcome to Etang Du Manoir. You join me for my annual French fishing holiday. I'm here for a week. We arrived yesterday, but I was just too tired after a long day to do any recording yesterday. And you may have already seen some footage from this morning of an absolutely stunning mirror that woke me up just before first light. 48 and 2 ounces was, yeah, more than welcome. So I'm in swim number 9, which is the all alone swim. I was lucky to be able to pick my first choice swim from the draw. So now let's just hope that the good fortune continues and I'm graced with another one of those lovely fish that we saw earlier. The lads that I'm out here with, we got off to a good start. There's 6 of us on, and so far there's been another 2 fish out as well, one of £40 and one £39.8. So things are looking good so far. The weather conditions are well, very wet this morning. It rained with clap of thunder at about 4 AM, and it rained constantly up till about 8. That's supposed to continue all day, but then the weather is supposed to be typical French fishing holiday weather. Blue skies, high pressure, but we'll see what happens. I'm happy at the moment, as I've had that fish first thing this morning, and the fish has just shown over my left hand spot, so that's a good sign. Well, let's see if my good fortune continues, and I'll come back to you later. So just to give you a quick look at the swim, this is swim 9, the all alone. And you've got that start of the island as your left hand marker. And up to that oak, or the straw bush next to the oak as your right hand marker. I've got a rod. Where are we? There. And coming back, I've got the rod there, and then coming back, I've got a rod positioned there. It was the left hand rod that did me a bite, and hopefully one of the rods will be off again pretty soon. You can see that bank of cloud in the background. We're expecting that to come in and provide us with some thunder, rain, quite heavy rain by the looks of the forecast, starting in an hour or so. So I'm getting all my stuff prepped and inside the bivvy, get it out of the way for this onslaught, and I'll come back to you shortly. Just before I go, this is the other side of the all alone swim. So the all alone swim is on a point, and the front of the swim faces out to the island, and to the side of the swim it faces out into Weedy Bay. We've actually got someone fishing in now this week, so I'm not casting a rod in now, but certainly another big piece of water in front of you in Weedy Bay. If you are in peg 9 and no one is in now, another big expanse of water to investigate. No more fish since yesterday morning. There's been 4 out of the lake now, 1 to myself that you've seen, and 3 to one of my mates, Dave, who's on the other side of the island. The storm passed through yesterday after probably about 4 hours. Some real intense lightning and thunder and heavy rain, huge bits of hail. But that passed through in the end probably about 8 o'clock last night. So I was a little bit late getting my rods out. But it's given way to an absolutely beautiful day today. See plenty of carp this morning at first light. Down to my left in open water. Decided to put a rod on them. Unfortunately, nothing much has happened so far. I think it's definitely a spot that I've got to continue to keep an eye on. And let's just hope that another one of the carp trips up and I can get another fish in the net. I'll speak to you later. It was a cold one this morning, Tuesday morning. No further action for anyone on the lake since Sunday. Very quiet yesterday. Up at about an hour before first light, 5:30 this morning. Wanted to get up early and watch the lake. Speaking to the bailiff when we arrived on Saturday, and he said bite time was first light, so full of anticipation now, to be honest with you. Been scanning the water for the last hour or so. Heard 1 or 2 just before it got light. Couldn't really see what they were, but they didn't sound to be in my water. But it's bite time and anything can happen. Hopefully they roll off soon. Another fish would be good. There's one of the big orange koi. I reckon that's high 20 at least. To show you the rig that I'll use to catch the 48 pounder. This is the rig that I use for 99% of my fishing anyway, but I just thought I'd share that with you now. It is the German rig. So first of all, what I do is I take about 12 inches of the N-Trap soft, and I pair that with a Curve Shank X hook in size 4. I attach the hook using the knotless knot, and I use 7 turns, 5, 6, 7 down the shank. And then back through. Pull that tight. And then just click off the tag end. So there we have our basic knotless knot, and you'll notice that the end trap is still fully intact and I haven't removed any coating at this stage. I actually like the knot to still have the coating on. I think this does aid the hooking potential of the rig. I do use a kicker So I've got one of the quarter kickers here in the large size because it's a size 4 hook. And I'm just going to slide that down and cover the eye. It is a tight fit, so it does take a little bit of manipulation, but it does fit. I find some are easier than others, but they all go on. It's just a case of working it down over that knot. There you go, that's done. Just make sure that the kicker comes down straight in line with the actual point of the hook. I also use an anti-tangle sleeve. Obviously this helps to prevent tangles on the cast, but for me as well, I use a quick change swivel on my lead clip system. So I just tie my rigs with a loop, and I just use the anti-tangle sleeve just to cover the top of that quick change swivel. I like my rigs to be about 7 inches long, so I'm just going to measure that now. I've got my 7 inches. Just creating the loop. I use a figure of 8 loop. If it gets through. I want quite a small loop. There you go. Let's pull that down nice and tight. Trim off the tag end. You can go fairly close in that rig. It's about 7 inches long. My last piece of prep I do is I just tear back a little bit of the coating just to make sure I've got a hinge. Just to make sure I've got a hinge. And there it is, there's my German rig. So all I need now is a hook swivel, a bead, attach my bait, and this one's ready to go and hopefully catch me some fish. So I just thought I'd show you the bait that I'm using and how I attach it to my German rig that I've just shown you. First of all, special shout out to Richard Els. Thank you very much, Rich. These have come in very handy and they actually accounted for the 48 pounder. Me and Richard, we prepare our baits in a very similar way, and I wasn't mentally in the right place prior to this trip. I had some personal issues towards the end of last year, and Richard, being the good mate that he is, he knew that I weren't ready and he prepared these bad boys for me. So yeah, thanks Rich, really appreciate it mate, and yeah, you helped me catch that 48 pounder. So what the hook bait is it's a cultured hook bait. There's various different powders and liquids that go on to a 15mm wafter. Over time these liquids soak in, powders go on and they harden up, and you get basically a coating that dissolves in the water, but it releases that goodness into the water, so you're supercharging the boilie itself. We're using Atlantic Heat as my go-to bait choice, which is a good boilie on its own. This makes the hook bait stand out from the crowd of free offerings, and hopefully gets me a bite quicker. So you can see the size is huge with the different powders on. So what I actually do in order to fish this as a snowman is I just take off a little bit of the coating, which I'll do now. Just get my bait box out so it doesn't fly everywhere, and I just take off to give myself a flat edge on the top of that hook bait. And there you go. And you can see the boilie in the middle, the layers and layers of powder and liquid that goes into making these. Cheers again, Rich. So that's one of the hook baits. For the topper, I do like a bit of yellow. I've got corn in me mix, and for me, there's not a lot that's better than the stinky hell. So again, I'm going to take the bottom off of a small 12mm hell. Just want a little bit of colour on top of the hook bait, just to make it stand out again. They get quite a lot of maize in this lake as well, so it's not a bad thing to have a little bit of yellow on the actual hook bait. So just going to put a baiting needle through both. Get my bait floss. Cut off the length of that. Maybe I should invest in some sharper scissors next time. That gets mounted on a small ring swivel. So the ring, if you can see that, it goes over the hook, and the actual small eye goes in the bait itself. So I'm going to thread my floss through there. So I've got me snowman, slide it down the floss, embed the swivel in the bottom bait, and because it's soluble and the outer coating is going to dissolve, you can pull that in quite a way. And that's what you're left with. So, I'm going to cut the end, leaving a small amount to blob. Slide that big ice out of the swivel over the shank, then just a hook bead over the hook point and round, and I like to have my bead level with the point of the hook. Come down a little bit, just to give that little bit of movement and not affecting the actual hook hold itself. So there you go. It lays on the bottom, hook flat on the floor, and the hook bait above it. That's a fish, hopefully anyway. I wasn't going to do any filming today, but I just got back to my swim after having dinner. We had a really nice barbecue done by Kim, Jay's other half, the owner of the lake. Yeah, really nice barbecue. We all wound in, got together, and yeah, sat for an hour. Yeah, really good food, had a laugh. got back to the swims and stuck our rods back out. And within the last 10 minutes, the fish has just shown off on this spot over there. Absolutely launched out of the water. And I've looked round to my open water spot over there. We've got a bit of a slick. So, after a few hard, slow days where I've not actually seen a lot, can't actually move either because we've actually filled all of the swims, or most of the swims, purposely left one at least closed due to it cutting off another swim. So I can't really move either. So it's been a case of sitting on your hands trying to work the swim, little and often feeding, just trying different snags. And today I've actually seen, or in the last half hour, I've actually seen some signs of life. So fingers crossed that before this day's out, you will see me with a fish. If not, I'll speak to you tomorrow. I sort of get back to you yesterday evening, first thing this morning, hopefully with a fish. It didn't happen, I'm afraid. I had a trailer that took out my open water rod at about 4:30 this morning. I got that rod back out there. I've not seen any signs of life today at all. Big winds now blowing, big southwesterly, blowing into the far end of the lake. I've got no chance of getting up there. I've no chance of getting on them fish, and they seem to have followed the wind. Good effort by the lads fishing up there. Steve and Dave, both have had fish today. I think there's a couple of 50s and a couple of 40s as well. So good effort by them two lads, but nothing for me to report so far. Still 2 nights to go, full moon tomorrow night. So hopefully I will still be able to get back to you before my week ends with another fish. It'll be a good way to sign off the week. So fingers crossed, and let's hope for the best. Catch you later. So it's the last night of a fantastic French trip. Unfortunately, not as many fish as we would have hoped. Certainly not for myself. Would I have done anything different? Maybe 1 or 2 things. But you learn from every trip out, every trip on the bank. You improve your angling. We have got one final night tonight, obviously. It is the full moon. This may give us one final opportunity to put another fish on the bank. If it does, you'll see it. If not, I hope you've enjoyed watching. And don't forget, like and subscribe